4, 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, I'm also going to tab out and start my own timer because for some reason this version of the game that we're running on doesn't accept global hotkeys from live split, so I'm going to tab out and start a timer so I can see it on my end as well. Alright, so...
Actually it does, but not for you.
It only happens to me for some reason, but whatever.
Exactly.
Also, before we get into the actual run, a quick apology in advance because I have quite a loud keyboard with blue switches and I'm going to be spamming an awful lot of dialogue in this, so I'll try and keep it down as much as I can, but if it's annoying, just bear with it. Just embrace the ASMR. Alright, so we start off in Two Rivers School as a senior student, as a spirit monk, and we're dueling our best friend, what's his name, Jing Wu or something like that?
Yeah, Jing Wu, it's like on the bottom right of your screen.
Oh, it's not right now, as you're saying this.
Oh, okay. I have a bit of latency, so sorry about that.
No problem, we'll get him next time. Alright, so Stripe, do you want to give a bit of a laydown on the lore while I go through the tutorial sequence?
Alright, so the basic lore for now is, as you said, we are students in this Two River School. We are taught by a guy, which I almost entirely forgot the name of.
Master Lee?
And yeah, Master Lee. And
can't forget Master Lee's name. It's very important to the plot. Very, very important.
You can see that an attack is going to happen. And yes, it's going to be really, really sad. So get ready.
Yeah, I guess we'll do like lore updates as like sit reps because the lore is very advanced, as with every Eastern game. So
every BioWare game.
Every BioWare game as well, yeah. So we'll kind of do it in chunks.
Yeah.
So yeah, all you need to know right now is that we're going to go and stock up and stop an attack that's happening from a bunch of assassins.
Exactly.
So right now we meet two very important characters: our first follower and our first enemy. The lady is our follower, and she's actually really good. But we're not going to use it just yet, because there's no real need. It's a tutorial sequence. We don't need to actually use game mechanics yet. We can just brute force our way through everything. And
however, there's like one mechanic you're using right now, which is focus running.
Oh, yes. That's a good thing to mention.
It's the fastest, like, normal way of movement.
Yeah.
When you're not in combat, when you activate your focus, which is supposed to like slow time, make it easier for you to hit enemies, you actually go faster. And it doesn't consume much focus at all since we play on easy, so yeah, it's like 3 times safe.
Yeah, it's essentially sprinting, because there's no actual sprint in this game, but when you go into focus, you essentially sprint. So we've killed a couple of the assassins, or the pirates, or whatever they are, I don't remember, and we've got our weapon. So there are loads of different styles in this game. Like the combat is there's a lot of depth to it, and we have a weapon called Fortune's Favorite, which is like our training sword, I guess, that we use in school. So we're going to use that because it attacks very fast compared to our martial arts style, but we won't be able to use it throughout the whole run because certain enemies are immune to certain attacks. So, for example, ghosts and spirits are completely invulnerable to Fortune's Favorite. So we'll have to switch to White Demon and spec accordingly.
Exactly.
Fatska says hi, Strife. Please say hi.
Yes, Fatska says hi, Ben.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello,
White Demon is the best of the starting skills. I mean styles.
Because there's such a gap between all the other ones and White Demon.
Yeah. Yeah, basically it's like you hit like a truck and you're relatively fast still, so it's pretty good.
And another reason, probably the main reason actually in my opinion, is that when you kick, as you saw me doing before, you actually move forward. Because with some of them, you can knock the enemy back and then you're not in range to attack them again. Whereas with White Demon, you're kicking and moving forward, so you can constantly hit someone as long as you're not getting hit yourself, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this is like the big invasion that we're going to stop. One thing to mention is that, as you can see right now, Dawnstar is attacking, but she's not really doing a whole lot. For the majority of the run, we're going to have whatever follower we're using at the time. We're going to have them in support mode because they essentially give you buffs. Because as you can see, they're not very useful in aggressive mode. They do absolutely no damage pretty much.
There's like 1 or 2 followers that actually do damage, but their AI is so bad. That
it's not good. So here is one of like the big bad guys. You basically square off and say, come on, let's go. But Master Lee goes, no, you can't do that because you're just a student. And he gets really close to the camera for some reason. I don't really know why he does that, but
yeah.
Also something to mention while I'm quickly leveling up. I'm just gonna go to. I guess I'll mention this first. I'm just gonna put all of my default stats into balanced, which gives you basically a mix of chi, health. Chi is essentially like you can use it to heal and also for like big attacks, and also focus, which we mentioned before, to be able to sprint longer. Basically stamina. Exactly. And then I'm also going to basically put all of my skill points that I get basically into raw damage. You don't need to really worry about like attack speed or focus cost reduction because we're playing on easy, so you basically have infinite like focus and stuff anyway until later on.
If like you've ever played this game in highest difficulty, you just can't play like full damage. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, you have to go on the defense quite a lot. So now we've done that section with the pirates. Basically, we come back and we speak to Master Lee, and Gal wants to fight us. Gal the Lesser, who we saw speak to Dawnstar earlier, who's our follower. So he basically goes, all right, 1v1, interventions, Rust, quick scoping only, no problem, Chief. Take him out. Go to the top of like the middle of Rust and just 540 YY quick scope him. He's dead. He's not dead.
So much experience in this.
Just knocked him off. Yep. Because again, it's easy difficulty, so we're a complete monster. And then Gao decides to use like forbidden magic within the school that his dad taught him in order to try and kill me. And Master Lee blocks it and expels Gao the Lesser from the school. So that may not seem significant, he's out of your hair, right? But what you don't know at this point is that Gao the Lesser's father is actually a really powerful, like, Dark Lord, or whatever you'd call it in this game. Like, I don't know what they're called. But he's very high up in the bad people chain, I guess. So him getting expelled is not good for us.
Yeah, no.
He follows the way of the closed fist.
He does.
Yes.
As Jack mentioned, I guess I'll mention as well, there's also a karma system in this game. This game has it all, dude. There's like speech checks, different stats that you can upgrade, like hundreds of different combat styles and everything. It's fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. This game was basically made after Quarter 1.
Yeah,
between Quarter 1 and Quarter 2.
That's Knights of the Old Republic for people who don't know.
Yeah, and it was like their first... I mean, not their first big attempt. Like, in Quarter 1 you already have, like, romancing and, like, followers. But it was their attempt at making combat deeper than in Knight of the Old Republic, even though in Knight of the Old Republic combat was pretty deep already. And it was pretty good, but this game was pretty much forgotten by a lot of people.
Yeah, it definitely went under the radar quite a lot. Alright, so I guess the second lore update now is we're going into the thing called the Spirit Cave. And the Spirit Cave, Master Lee sends us in there so we can see like the corruption and what's really going on behind the scenes. So we get attacked by ghosts, but we pick up the Jade amulet. And that's very important because the pieces are basically like scattered across, and different bad guys have them, and we want to collect them all together. We want them all for ourselves, so we become super powerful and do good in the world and all that, boring stuff.
Basically, we're Link right now.
Yeah, and we're gonna meet in just a few seconds after a couple more fights. Is it the spirit of the water dragon or the water dragon?
Water dragon spirit, I think.
The water dragon spirit, yeah, something like that.
Because she's actually a water dragon, so...
Yeah. And she's also very important because... Strife, do you remember why she's important? I know she's important.
Okay, so she's important because she's more or less the source of our magic, basically, and she's being like corrupted by the evil emperor. Because this is pretty much rooted in Chinese mythology, if you didn't understand yet. and it's a story about a greedy emperor wanting to become immortal. But we'll see that later.
Yeah. Another quick thing to note is I just unlocked a skill called Dire Flame. That's going to go into my hotbar, and I'm not going to use it for about an hour and a half. But keep it in mind, because it'll be useful later.
Yeah, once.
Yeah. It'll be useful
Good time for
once.
donation?
Sure, go ahead.
Got a few donations here. The first one's from Ed Dices, $20, saying, "I want to believe."
I also
Thank you very much for that donation. We've also got a $5 donation from Anonymous with no comment, so thank you very much for that. Virus donates $5 and says, "Put it on, irregular Ginny." So, Ginny, the donators have told you to put on that mustache.
Get it on.
Please
Damp
get it
Dog
on.
has also donated $20, saying, "Hey Ben, big fan. Damp Dog here. I'm a massive fan of the Jade Empire series. Nice to see that ESA is such an alpha gamer like yourself representing this great community."
Thanks, Tully.
I didn't know Jade Empire
I saw
was
Tully
a
in the
series.
chat. And last donation is just $10 from Anonymous, which says, "You guys sure do a lot of marathons." Yes, we do.
We do.
And it's great every single time.
Indeed.
Great for our health, apparently. It's supposed to be, at least. That's what my doctor told me. We should do a marathon.
So,
I did.
that's the first speech check right there. We basically intimidated the guards, so we didn't have to fight them. That's a pretty easy one. I don't know exactly what the stats are that you need to pass it, but it's very low. Like, you don't spec for it or anything. You can just...
Actually, this stat check is like no stat check in this game is 100% guaranteed. Like, you can have 99% and still fail.
Yeah,
It
it's
happened to me
percentage
once,
based, which is very silly.
Yeah.
But I've yet to fail any kind of ones that would lose me a lot of time. So here's the next follower, Sagacious Zoo. I guess I'll go through like what their uses are as we go through, so you'll know like why I'm selecting who I'm selecting. So Dawnstar, who was the lady we fought with earlier, she boosts your chi. So she's essentially if you want to play safe strats, because chi can be used to heal you. And Sagacious Zoo is more of like a DPS character, because he can boost the amount of damage you do with focus weapons. So our focus weapon right now being Fortune's favorite. So boosted damage is always good. It's always fast. So
Exactly. And just to answer a question that was in the chat, there is 6, 7, and 8 generation for the standard edition, because they're Xbox 360, and Xbox One, and each have like different load times, so it would be unfair to put them on the same leaderboards.
oh yes, and they also have actual gameplay differences as well. For example,
Also.
some characters are not available on console; they're only on PC. Some styles, like the Rhino style, I'm pretty sure isn't available on console either. Things like that.
No. So yeah, we didn't talk about that, but we are playing the special edition, which is PC's exclusive.
Yeah.
So
They only released the special edition on PC, and you can't get the normal edition on PC. So it's really strange how they did it.
Yeah. The special edition changes actually a few things, but for the people that know, there was a pre-order for the special edition, which was the Rhino form. It was a pre-order bonus, and it was added later to all the GOG versions. Normally, we don't choose it because it's actually overpowered and it's considered a DLC, and we don't care about that.
Yeah, and it's on some versions it's not possible to obtain it, and if you were to allow it, it would be like, you know, the go-to, and some people can't use it, so we just banned it to be, you know,
Exactly.
you know, consistent across platforms. So
What about
next
making
lore
it its
update.
own category?
Honestly,
we thought about that, but
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. If someone wanted to do runs with Rhino form to see how low the category could actually go, then feel free. I'd honestly be down
the
to-
main problem with like
Reveal.
running Rhino form would mean that you put way more points into chi, which in its it wouldn't actually make the run much faster. It would make the combats much easier. That's pretty much it. So
Yeah.
it would skip the interesting part of the combats for not that much faster combats, because the enemies still have a lot of health. It's just that the Rhino version basically allows you to skip to cheese the entirety of the early game, because you get it right at the start of the game.
So, quick lore update again. We just killed Gal the Lesser properly this time.
Yeah, we destroyed him.
Because he captured Dawnstar, so we needed to go and rescue her in that cave. So now we're doing a little bit of a mini-game. We actually want to fail it, though, because whether you pass it or fail it, the outcome is exactly the same. So we obviously it's faster to kind of, just die than it is to, like, do the whole kind of little flying section. So once you have the opportunity, you can then click disengage, and it'll take you to the same place. So right now, we're back at Two Rivers, and Gao's father, I don't know if he knows we killed him at this point, but I'm pretty sure he does, and this is probably his motive for, destroying and killing all of our friends.
Actually, he doesn't know yet that Gao is dead, but
this is why I've got Strife, because he knows more about the lore than I do.
Yeah, his motive is basically that Gao got expelled by the Master, and Gao found out that Master Li, he's not the person he claimed he was. Yeah. He's actually the lost brother of the Emperor, and so Gao attacks the village and kills everyone because he wants to get rid of Li.
Yeah, he also captures Master Li, I believe, as well.
He's supposed to, yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's what we believe. But
am I right in saying that Master Li is also supposed to be the brother of Sun Qin? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or the Emperor?
Yeah, brother of the Emperor.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously it's kind of difficult to keep up with the lore in a speedrun because we're going to skip the whole narrative. But to anyone who hasn't played this game, I would 100% recommend it. The narrative is fantastic.
Just know that you won't actually get spoiled by the speedrun. You'll see the main
skip
characters.
We skip 90% of the story.
Yeah. The only problem is that you actually see the big twist. That's
the big twist is an unskippable cutscene. So I'll let you know when it's coming up, and if you intend on playing this game and you don't want to get it spoiled, me and Strife will let you know when it's coming up. So you can
don't hesitate. It's really cheap on GOG. The special edition on GOG is actually pretty much bug-free almost in terms of annoying bugs.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting considering it's 1.0. But the Jade Empire devs actually made a working game in 1.0, whereas devs these days 1.0 is like a pre-alpha build. Basically.
Yeah, but it's 1.0 revisited by the GOG devs.
Yeah.
Which is why they fixed actually a lot of compatibility issues and a lot of problems basically with running the game in general.
Yeah, it's difficult to get a game. When did this game come out? Like 2005?
I think a bit later. I can't remember.
Maybe a bit later, but yeah, it's difficult to get games like that to constantly compete with modern hardware.
Yeah.
So 2005, you're correct. It was original Xbox.
There you go.
Okay.
Big brain.
Because, for example, if you try to run Knight of the Old Republic, it's much harder. Like, really, really hard to run it on PC.
So you saw a little dialogue box come up there. That gave us the option to basically attack or evade on our wing glider. But again, if you evade, it takes you to the same place as if you attacked, but you skip the attacking sequence. Right, okay, so this is where the first actual set of skips come in. Strife, do you want to kind of explain what happens here while I execute it?
Okay, so when you enter a trigger for a combat, basically there's an arena of invisible walls that create themselves. But by manipulating the camera, because a lot of these triggers are linked to how you, like the camera seeing the trigger in a way, we can skip quite a few of these triggers and basically just skip fights.
So as you saw there, I basically set up the camera to look at a certain location as like a visual reference, and then I walked into the zone and then walked immediately back out again, and basically the time between like it gave time for the enemies to spawn, but then I was able to walk out of the trigger before the actual fight started. So then once you've done that, you can just run right past them. There are different ways to skip fights in this game. That's one of them, but the problem with that is that if you were to revisit this area, you would re-trigger the fight. And Thirsty Wraith is in chat actually found a way a couple of months back to skip a fight permanently using the followers, which you'll see coming up soon. So next lore update, a lot of lore updates going on. I didn't think there'd be this many. This is Silk Fox. Silk Fox, we don't know this yet. She's just like looks to be a random assassin who thinks we're a bad guy, but we're not. So we're gonna attack her, and to prove that we're a good guy, because that's how that works.
Yes.
She is actually the princess, the emperor's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not princess, but it's emperor's daughter.
She's the emperor's daughter. So we'll see her later in the Imperial City, which we're basically working towards going there now.
Yeah, the game is basically divided in 3 big sections. We are in 4 big sections. The first one being 2 rivers. Then there's this section, this village that we're gonna see now, and then there's the Imperial City, and there's all that happens after. But I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
So much fun stuff.
So as you just saw then, I just equipped a intuition gem. So the gems in this game, they don't only increase like your health, spirit, and chi as we mentioned before, but they also increase your stats as in like for speech checks. Now, for some odd reason, Strife will probably be able to tell you why this is the case. If you say, I've got 2 gems in my inventory right now, well 3, but two that are relevant. And one of them boosts your intuition, and one of them boosts your intimidation. If I have the intimidation gem equipped, which doesn't lower my intuition, but if I have that equipped while the intuition gem is equipped, I will fail an upcoming intuition check. Strife, do you have a technical explanation as to why that is?
Actually, I didn't check that directly. Maybe further as an explanation, because I tried to look into it, and then I was like, yeah, it's percentages, and the the calculus on the percentages for the checks doesn't make sense to me. Like, I really don't understand how it happens, because there's always a chance of failure, and if you have some stats higher than others, they apparently influence like the percentage of like failure or success. So I'm not sure myself. Strange. Thirsty checked the files way more, so maybe he has an answer for you guys.
Yeah, maybe Thirsty. Yeah, if you're looking for someone who knows a lot about this game and you want to ask any questions, I'd recommend asking Thirsty Wraith. Don't bombard him with questions, but if you've got something that we might not know the answer to, Thirsty Wraith is the guy. He's found a lot of stuff for this game recently.
Yeah. He kind of, took a break of the game, which makes all sense, but he ran the game for a while.
Alright, so here is the second setup, essentially. What I'm going to do is there's a trigger right here. You can see where like the floor is different. I'm going to roll into it. We've got an autosave first, so wait for that. And then I'm going to try and roll out of it, but I rolled back into it because of the autosave. Now I'm just rolling everywhere. Alright, we'll have to reload that save and try it again. But this is why the autosave is good. Okay. Alright, shut that again. So, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to roll into the trigger and then back out again with like a specific setup, again using the camera. And then we're going to spawn Sagacious Zoo into the fight trigger and then take him out of it. And the game basically thinks that we are then... we hit the trigger, so we'll skip the fight, and even if we come back, the game will think the trigger is done.
Yeah, it is like the game gets really confused because it triggers fights with your own entity, but apparently, from what Thursday found, it also triggers with your followers' entities.
Yeah. So as you can see here, sorry to interrupt, Strife, but I'll just explain it as I go, so I can use like the visual cue. So. Sagacious Zoo right here is now in the trigger, and he has essentially set up to fight them. Then we'll take him out the trigger, and as you can see now, I can just run right past. The game tries to block you, as you can see here, by putting an invisible wall, but if you just quick save and quick load, it just removes it, so you can just, continue breaking the game. That doesn't only just skip a fight, we're going to do it here as well real quick, just to mention, because there's another fight. Oh, I accidentally jumped into it. Fantastic. Alright, so I'll actually just do the fight, I think.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just mention one of the big differences between PC and Xbox is that we have quick save, quick loading, which makes those skips much faster and much safer. So technically, the PC version will generally be faster.
Yeah. I think it was definitely faster to just do the fight in this case, because obviously...
The fight is pretty short.
It's a pretty short fight, yeah. The next one coming up will be a lot longer, that we'll skip. But yeah, it essentially works the same way. So right here is a good time if you want to read anything out, Jack, because we're going to have a fight, and then there's like one of the longest unskippable cutscenes in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there aren't any donations to read out just right now, but I would like to remind everyone that all donations are going towards the Movember Foundation, which is the leading charity facing changing the face of men's health, I should say, addressing some of the biggest health issues faced by men, including prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, and suicide prevention. While there are no bid wars happening right now, we do have a few coming up for the next game, which is Animal Crossing. So you can choose the character, the gender of the character, I should say, and also the character's name and the town name. So if you want to change those or see what they are or donate to them for Animal Crossing, you should get those in very soon. There's only 2 hours to the end of this run. And all the donations are appreciated. So thank you everyone who's donated so far. And
thank you very much.
I'm enjoying this run, honestly. That was a bit out of nowhere.
I'm glad you enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So real quick, one thing I forgot to mention was that fight that we skipped, the first one in the forest, is actually really important because not only does it skip the fight, but as soon as you complete the fight normally, there's a cutscene where a load of people come down the stairs and they talk to you about getting a win map and all that kind of stuff, and you also skipped that entirely as well. So
yeah. It is a really long skip.
Yeah, it's a very long section that we skip.
It saves, in total, I think it saves like more than a minute.
Yeah. So, lore update, we just found the fox spirit. And we're going to also set up something real quick. Yeah, while I do the next follower strat like we did before, right. I guess you can explain.
So what's happening in this forest is basically spirits, enemies are attacking everyone. And we find out that the fox spirit, which is basically a spirit of the forest, is being like corrupted by an enemy spirit. And so there's supposed to be a moral choice where you choose to either help the fox spirit or help the corruption spread. Helping the fox spirit is much faster. Like literally, it saves 3 or 4 minutes to help the fox spirit.
Yeah.
So to kill the fox spirit, sorry. And we also have a very big skip for this part. Well, we don't have a skip for the other karma choice. So yeah, we go close fists, which is the bad side of the karma.
Did you see there, by the way, where Zoo was standing? He was like standing next to me instead of behind me, so I couldn't get him into the trigger. Like, it took me like 4 or 5 tries to get him lined up properly. That seems to be like the one bad thing about this trick. It still saves time, but obviously ideally you want to get it first try. But you can kind of get screwed because even though it's like based on the camera, sometimes Zoo can just, go, oh, I'm just going to stand to the side instead.
Yeah, the idea is that your follower, when you change followers, the follower will always spawn behind you, but it won't always spawn straight behind you depending on the spot he has available.
Yeah.
So it can screw you a bit.
Yeah. So right there I did another one, and that one is also really important. Because that fight right there, yeah, it's a huge fight. There is like several waves, and we haven't mentioned the kind of enemies that you face, but the kind of enemies that you face in that little wave section and the fights that we skipped before are called Ghost Lords, and Strife will tell you, Ghost Lords are some of the most awful enemies that you have to fight in this game.
They're not fun.
For some odd reason, like even on the low difficulties, they have insane amounts of health. They can stun lock you, they can CC you, it's ridiculous.
One thing about this game is that technically any enemy can spawn lock you. It can stun lock you, sorry. It's actually insane.
You can like gain and lose like 10 minutes on fighting alone through no fault of your own.
Yeah, and so yeah, skipping those enemies, the Ghost Lords, is really important. And actually, fun fact, the Ghost Lord is a PC only enemy.
Yes, which is probably why Thirsty Wraither runs console, so he doesn't have to deal with those awful mini bosses.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them. I think now we skip like all of them.
Yeah, we do. Up until we go goes to like the underworld later on, essentially.
Yeah. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So now we got in
I'm
this.
not mashing. Yeah, I'm not mashing dialogue there because I want to pass an intuition check to get like the guy to trust me, and not only that, but I also want to lie to him to tell me so he can give me the crystal that we need to do the next puzzle right away. Otherwise, we have to like go and actually do stuff for him to like return favors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to miss the dialogue option, basically.
Yeah. So this is another follower. He actually has no real use. We play as him later on for a little bit, but he's basically used as like a full-on DPS unit. But because we're going to use support styles, they're not really useful. But again, you just have to prove to him that you're the superior gamer in order to sort him out, basically.
I wonder, did you explain why you didn't always use the Fortune's favorites about the ghost type of enemies and stuff?
I did, yeah, I did.
Okay, cool.
I'm on it, don't worry.
Yeah.
So coming up, this is a very difficult puzzle. You need a massive brain to understand this. Alright, so I'll walk it through with you, chat. So you see these little light things here? The game tells you that it kind of like forces the camera to look at them. So you click on them both to create the light. And then if you also saw where the portal is going to spawn, up there are purple little drapes. So if you have a massive brain like me, you would then see that there are yellow and blue and red and green. So I need to make purple from the light. So I'm going to put red here and blue on the other side, make purple, and bam! 350 IQ puzzle right here.
And do you know what happens to people that don't have big brains?
What happens to people who don't have big brain, Strife?
They get an additional very, very long fight.
Oh, I didn't actually know that, because I'm not dumb enough to fail this. Even as a kid, I figured this out pretty much straight away, because
the fight is 3 waves long, and it's really annoying. I tried it once just to see, it's really annoying.
Good thing my brain is massive then, right? So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I used to do the fights on purpose just for the experience.
Yeah, I bet you did, Jack. You small brain son of a gun, dude. Yeah, I was just trolling, just pretending to be dumb, dude. Get out of here! Get out of here! All right, so here's heaven. I don't know about you, but I'm quite a quite a furry. So my idea of heaven is to have plenty of foxes going around. And a couple of merchants.
Please don't say that. Monk at OS, please.
So that's another follower. You can like go into your follower inventory, follower count, follower menu, whatever you call it, and you can trade with him at any point. But we're not going to because we don't have anything. He doesn't have anything of use.
Yeah, we tried. We tried to see if he had any point, and his shot was just really bad.
It's not worth it. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and as Strife mentioned before, the choice to kill the fox spirit up here is actually the fastest way to get through this section. I guess while I go up and fight my way up here, Strife can explain this trick coming up.
Alright, so this is a trick that allows us to skip not one of the biggest fights, but almost one of the biggest fights in the game. It's really long. So what we're gonna do is basically, as we skip the dialogue itself, right at the end we're gonna pause the game and we're just gonna walk out, because while the cutscene is finishing, basically while you're in dialogue state, the combat can be started. So there's this little time you have to just back out of the fight, and the limits create like in front of you, and you can just continue. There's nothing allowing you to,
I don't know if you use a certain setup, but I don't actually pause for it. I just hold the inputs in the cutscene, and you can just run right out.
Yeah, it also works. I used to do like combat pose, but like just holding the input works. It's really, really stupid because you're right at the edge.
Yeah, we've just said now that we're gonna basically kill. So she spawns all this kind of monk-ass stuff, and then I'm just gonna back out like that, and that's it. That's the whole fight skipped. And now we just fight our way back down to the boss, which is going to be the Fox Spirit.
Yeah. It's not a really really hard fight, but she can kill you pretty easily. So
that elephant demon is scary, man. It's an absolute unit.
Yeah.
I'm in awe at the size of that lad right there. Yeah, so this is a point where I mentioned before, where you can switch to Silk Fox here to regenerate chi faster if you want to play safe.
You need to Dawnstar.
Dawnstar, yeah. Who did I say? Sorry, yeah. Apologies. Dawnstar, because you can, as we mentioned before, get stun locked in a lot of fights, and this one is one that I've certainly struggled with before.
Oh yeah,
with the Fox Spirit, really... you can get demolished here sometimes if you're unlucky enough. Another thing that you'll notice, a lot of enemies doing combat if they're trying to troll you is just sit and hold block.
Yeah, for a long time. They can technically block as much as they want. They can just
sit and block. And the only thing you can do to break the block is do like a power attack. But then, if you do a power attack, they will then combo you, as you just saw happen with the Forest Shadow there. Like,
yeah, it is really annoying.
Yeah, really annoying.
But yeah,
so that's the Fox Spirit dead.
Okay, I'm a little bit behind, but I just wanted to, as a fun thing, there was actually a lot more transformation styles that were like, supposed to be in the game. But they didn't end up putting them in because we don't know really why. They're still in the files, but they're not here. So, for example, you could have with a mod that's called a Jade Empire style. You can add all of these cut out styles, and for example, you can add the elephant form style, which is absolutely broken. It's incredible the DPS this thing has. But yeah, it's really interesting because there's a lot of cut content from this game that you can find directly in the game files. Just they decided not to put it in.
As you can see there in the next kind of lore update, I got super trolled by the Drunken Master section. That is very annoying.
God. Drunken Master is really fun.
There is no way to skip that section because we need the cook later on. So even if we could skip him, we actually need him later on for a certain part of a quest. We don't need him per se because the method, he basically gives you like a different method to create to finish a quest, but it's slower, so we don't really want to use it, but we have to. Like if we was to skip him, we would probably just softlock.
Yeah, very much probably we would softlock.
Yeah, but
a lot of things are data followers.
Yeah, but that whole section with Drunken Master, like you're just flipping around doing front flips and stuff. It's pretty funny, but you can lose a lot of time there if the guys just sit and block like they did with me.
Yeah.
So now we're going to return to the people that we never met because we skipped them. But when we go down here, you'll see them. And this is where we get the wind map. And also, this is where the karma system comes into play. So we got a gem of earth power. That's a pretty good early game gem. But we can't equip it yet because we're too good. We're too much of a nice guy. So now we've done bad, as you can see by the little closed fist icon. We now actually have enough points to actually equip the spirit gem, which is nice. So we can equip it here.
Yeah.
There we go. So we're basically gonna try and remain as neutral as possible, but flip between good and bad depending on what items we can use. So because we're gonna find some things later on that are good if you're a good person and good if you're a bad person. So we're just gonna flip between the two, basically.
All right. You also saw him put the final damage increase in the white demon.
And that was in Fortune's favorite.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
We don't upgrade White Demon nearly as much as we used to because we skip a lot of the ghost fights now. Like we skip pretty much half of the ghost fights that we used to do. So now the kind of next lore update is a couple of last things we need to do. It's one of them. We need to go to the Pirate Cove because we need to find someone who can take us to the Imperial City to go and save Master Li. And the other thing we need to do is, well, technically we don't need to do it because we're not going to, but we can choose to close a dam, or what's the other one? Let it open and let trade go through it or something?
No, actually, the dam is closed right now. The dam is closed and there's ghosts, so basically the entirety of the commerce of this little orchard town is frozen. So you can decide to either leave it closed or open it again. I'm just gonna signal a few things if you don't mind. There's actually a faster running technique that what it's doing right now. It's however, it's really input intensive, so it's really annoying.
I hope you won't bring it up because now I've got to show it off.
You can show it off just once. It's called wiggle rolling. So
we couldn't think of a good name for it, so wiggle rolling is the...
It's like you do a roll, and while you do a roll, you double tap A or D, and your character enters a sliding animation with a sliding speed, which doesn't exist anywhere else in the game, which is really weird. And if you chain those, you can basically save quite some time, especially since you can do it while in focus mode.
Yeah,
so,
just to add more inputs into the very short amount of time.
What you're supposed to do is go into focus mode, go out of focus mode, do your roll, go back into focus mode as you do your two A or D inputs. And then you go back out of focus mode, because while you're in focus mode, you cannot do rolls.
So I'll show it off now while I've got a bit of time once we go into the ruins. So basically what we're doing here is a kind of lore update here, is we're just chasing the guy that we met earlier. One of the, like, Lotus Assassin Masters or whatever they are. I don't remember exactly who he is, but we're trying to track him down, and he'll keep, running off. We never actually catch him.
Yeah, it's the Inquisitor.
Inquisitor, yeah.
Inquisitor Lim, which is the guy that instigated the attack on Troll Rivers.
Yeah. So, I guess one thing to mention before I actually show off the focus rolling, since we're in a fight, is this game is actually smart enough to detect the order in which you kill certain enemies, including Inquisitor Lim. I actually messed up a skip here where you can skip this little thing, but it's not a big deal. It's like a couple of seconds.
Oh, you messed up rat skip?
Yeah, it's I don't know why I failed that. I feel like I did everything fine.
2 seconds slower. So
it's not a big deal at all. But yeah, so the game is smart enough to detect that you've you've got to kill certain people for the amulet, right? Because obviously it makes sense. It's kind of the whole point of what you're doing. But if you were to skip the Inquisitor Lim fight, you will always be forced to fight him at some point. So, as Strife actually told me earlier, I didn't know this is how it works, but apparently this is how it works, is he will always find you, or you will find him, in the last place you go out of all of these sections. So, we're going to do a bit of backtracking after this, which you would think, like route-wise doesn't make sense. But the reason we're going to do it is because even though it involves backtracking, the last place where we want to fight him is in the Pirate Cove, because if you do that, you fight him at the same time as Gal the Greater, and it saves you having to basically initiate 2 combat phases. You just do 1.
Yeah, in total, it saves around 20 seconds to do this order.
Yeah. So there is method to the madness. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, let's see if I can get some focus rolls going. Oh no, we've got the little girl fight first.
Yeah, little girl fight first.
Yeah, this is actually like a horrible place to do focus rolls. So yeah, this little girl actually turns into a big demon, and this fight can also be kind of annoying because he has like infinite poise and can just knock you back constantly. So like even if you can't stun lock him basically, but you can definitely be stun locked.
I tried soft locking this fight. I mean, like skipping him. You can technically skip him, but then basically you can't finish the zone, which is really fun.
So where those Jade Golems are there, if we approach them, we'll then need to like initiate a password and go and do the damn storyline, but we don't actually need to do that. So
yeah, it's supposed to be this big thing because basically you're supposed to get implicated in the life of the village, but
right, I'll do some focus rolls now, by the way. I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
There we go. So you see how I got like a big launch there?
Yeah.
So across the whole run, it probably saves like a couple of minutes, but like honestly, I'd get carpal tunnel doing this the whole time.
And it's also a trick that only works on PC because you need non-analog inputs.
Yeah.
Basically.
Also, a kind of little thing to mention there is I was able to... There was like... Between the loading zones, there's also loading screens where you're actually in the game. And if you... What it actually does is just pause the game and allow you to, you know... It stops you from moving because the game is paused. So you can just... There's like a combat pause button in this game. And you can just press the combat pause button and move in the loading screens for some reason.
Yeah.
I have no idea why they set up a loading screen that you can actually move in. I don't know why, but...
Because those loading screens, from what I checked, are loading screens that only load faraway objects.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see them immediately. It doesn't need to like stop the entire game. It's just to load some props that are in the background or something like that.
Yeah. So the person who said macros aren't allowed, no. You can't set up a macro to do it. It's cheating. Alright, so I got a classic bug here, Strife. I got the camera facing right down. Let's see if I can fix it. This is a random bug that happens when you enter an area. Fortunately, I was able to fix it by just quick saving and quick roll it.
Yeah, if you ever have that, you just quick save, quick load it, where it just removes the bug.
Yeah.
The game just gets confused on where to put the camera and puts it like inside you or something. It's really weird.
It's very strange. Alright, so remember to say no to bullying, everyone. These pirates are actually big bullies, as you see here. Just get socked right in the gut, and this guy just foreheads about it. That's not okay. So, of course, the only justice that you need to give to bullies is by dropping a huge cannon on them. This is how they solve their issues in Asia. So we're going to speak to this guy who ran away, and he's like, "Oh, look at this rope. I hope something bad doesn't happen. But because we need bad karma, we're going to drop that cannon right on these guys. See you later, boys. That's what you get for bullying people. So don't bully kids, otherwise I'll drop a cannon on you."
You know, with your accent, it sounded like, to me, you said, say no to boys.
Say no to boys. Also say no to boys. Men are the genetically inferior race. I love women.
Yeah, men are a different race to women.
A big women respecter, yeah.
It's science with English banners.
It's science, yep. I failed science for a reason, everyone.
A speciesist in Movember, unacceptable.
So I did the follower skip right then to skip another fight, and again we need to save and load in order to progress. And now we're going to meet our next follower, who is Sky. Sky has a fairly interesting support mechanic, but we don't actually use him for what you would think. Because you notice how we said before how our weapon drains focus, and we might be able to, we might run out of focus in long fights. So I used to use him personally. I don't know if Strife ever did, but I used to use him quite a bit to basically restore focus whenever we were in fights.
Yeah.
But he also has quite a unique use later on, which we'll use him for. I won't go too much into it now, but basically know that he has like a knack for spotting people in hiding. He has a Hawkeye trait, as it were.
I just wanted to say something since someone reminded me in the chat. Jade Empire is actually on sale on Steam right now. You can buy it for like $3, and there's actually the BioWare bundle. You can buy for it. It's like a minus 80% on 5 games, so it's really worth it if you want to enjoy those games.
Honestly, Jade Empire is the best $3 you will ever spend, I swear to God.
Yeah, it is a really good game.
Yeah.
Binding keys outside the game is a macro, so it's not allowed.
I mean, technically, if it's like one input to one output, then I guess it's fine. But like, creating one button to do focus rolling or wiggle rolling is definitely not on the cards, because that would trivialize the whole thing.
Four inputs in a row.
4 inputs per time. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess next lore update. That guy in blue, the big chubby man, is I was talking about not bullying, now I'm bullying Gal the Greater. He's an asshole, he deserves it. The chubby man is Gal the Greater. Galdoles's father, who is a big bad guy. And the other guy is Inquisitor Lim. As we mentioned before, Inquisitor Lim will always find you in the last section you go to in here. So we deliberately left this place until last, even though it involved backtracking, because we're going to fight them both at the same time.
Exactly.
He was also slapping Kang, who has the ability to take us to the Imperial City, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, he's the crazy, the mad scientist of the bunch.
So we're going to walk in here, and this lady is just going to spontaneously combust. I don't know where that happens. Strife, do you know?
Wait, let me catch up. Yeah, I'll just catch up because I'm like 10 seconds behind. Oh, yeah, this thing. It's one of the supposed to be attacks of the guy. Basically, he launches a grenade or something like that. It's really weird.
Okay. Yeah. What it looks like, they just spontaneously set on fire. Like, it's very strange. Alright, so we're basically fighting our way up to the top now, to where Inquisitor Lim and Gal the Greater are. So there's a couple more pirate fights, and then we're gonna go up. And again, I don't know the reason why this is, but Strife might know. When we go to the top, there's gonna be an awful lot of demons just chilling there, like rat demons and horse demons and stuff. I don't know why they're there. I guess they're like, because it's in a workshop. I guess maybe it's like,
yeah, this zone. It's actually never really explained why demons are there. It's supposed to be, I mean, it's probably supposed to be like, oh, Inquisitor Lee can summon demons, so he just summoned them.
So he just did it for some odd reason,
Yeah, probably because he wanted to exploit them as slaves. I don't know. I don't know. It's
game doesn't tell you. Yeah, game does not tell you. So we go towards this gate, and now this big unit spawns in. You may think that all the big things in this game are scary, but they actually have like proportional health. So you can just destroy the big thing like you're destroying the guards, because you might not think it, because we've kind of skipped a lot of fights and stuff that are usually mandatory, but we're pretty overpowered right now because we've like gone pure damage. Like, we are pure glass cannon right now.
Yeah. The Ghost Lords are the exception to the rule, because since they were made as like an enemy only for the PC version, basically to toughen the fights in the Forest Zone and some later zones, they have like 150% defense compared to other enemies. It's really, really annoying. It's absolutely incredibly annoying.
So here's the boss fight with Inquisitor Lim. He's actually, you know, difficult, and Gal the Greater just goes down like a sack of potatoes, dude. Mash him up for your dinner. He's just got absolutely annihilated. And now we've got the next piece of the amulet.
Supposed to be the boss of this zone, so yeah, it makes sense.
We just absolutely murdered him. So, as you can see there, we equipped 2 extra slots. By picking up the other piece of the amulet, we get 2 extra slots. And obviously the gems are very good, they boost your stats. We're going to get 2 very overpowered gems, which I also believe are only on the PC version. Which is again why we have category splits, because these things give you a plus 12 to your stats. And 2 of them, the plus 12 health and plus 12 chi, are basically on the way to where you're going. So
it was never explained by the devs why they add those. It's like they just decided to add free ultimate gems. Like, literally they're free in the game.
It's very strange. So again, we're going to choose to evade the combat sequence and just hop straight to the back to the camp.
Yeah.
And basically we're going to talk to a couple of people and say like we've done their task. And then we're going to speak to Kang and say we're ready to go. So again, we're going to evade because we don't want combat. We're already way too broken. We don't need any more experience. And I guess this is the next section, what Strife was talking about, the next big section of the game.
Yeah, the Imperial City.
So that right there is the daughter of the Emperor, who you may know as Silk Fox. We'll get her as a companion fairly soon.
Yeah.
But first, we're going to set up a little warp, as it will. Strife, do you want to explain how this works while I set up?
There is a side quest in this game that is basically a bounty hunt. So we need to find a guy. And for this side quest, for whatever reason, once you find a guy who doesn't resist arrest, really, you can basically tell him, oh yeah, I'm gonna let you escape. And then it teleports you back to the captain, which is right near the place we want to go. And, well, then we're still gonna betray him because we need the bad points, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And,
and yeah. Remember when I said we're gonna flip between
uh,
good and bad karma? We're gonna make him think that we're letting him free, which gives us good karma, and then we're gonna go right back into the bad karma by throwing him into the bus.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
And it skips a little over 20 seconds, 30 seconds around.
Running all the way back through the city. Unfortunately, there's no way to warp there and skip this cutscene, where this game basically just trash talks us for being a peasant.
Rich guy cutscene. I tried to skip this cutscene for so long. It's so annoying. Oh god.
So, Jack, if you want to plug any more bid wars or anything, or read your donations, you got some time?
Yeah, we don't have any donations right now, but we'll remind everyone again, coming up after this is Animal Crossing All Debts run by Shape. There's currently a bid war going on to choose the player's gender, and currently girl is ahead, so if you want Shape to play as a boy, get your bids in now. There are also donation wars to name the character and to name the town that you buy or whatever. I don't know, I've not played Animal Crossing.
You buy? Come on, bro.
It's got something to do with paying off a debt. I know that much.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, exactly. Animal Crossing is a really chill game, so I'd say to watch out after that.
Alright, so here's the Scholar's Garden. Not only does doing the warp allow you to stop backtracking, but also now we've met Silk Fox. If we were to not backtrack, we also have to do a fight with a lot of guards who come and find us, so we're just going to walk past them, essentially.
Yeah.
So this is where we get Silk Fox as a companion, and her support style is she allows you to do more damage with your martial art styles. So we'll use her whenever we go to basically fight ghosts, which isn't very often anymore because we skip a lot of them, but she's still useful to a point.
Yeah.
So remember when I said about Sky and how he has a keen eye, but we're not going to use him for his combat purposes. This is why we're going to use him. So as Strife mentioned, the guy that we need to find for the bounty, now we basically need to go back to the entrance, and the guy we need to find for the bounty is right here. And as you can see by the Sky dialogue that's going to happen right now, Sky knows who he is, and he can like basically see right through the facade. So Sky asks him a question, and then essentially, I can't remember exactly how it goes actually, but Sky asks him a question, and he doesn't know the answer to it. So he basically goes like, "Oh, you don't know the answer to the question. The real guy would know the answer, so we can fool him, get into confess." And then we help him out, and then we go, oh, actually, no, that guy escaping, that's actually the guy. So we go right back. We collect our money, and we get the bad karma again. And then we go all the way back.
Actually, there's another reason why we take Sky at this point.
Oh, go ahead.
If we don't take Sky at this point as our follower, he's gonna leave the party for a while and then come back and trigger a cutscene. We don't want that. So by having Sky as our follower, the cutscene never happens. It saves like 15 seconds easy.
I did forget about that, but that is true.
Yeah.
So this is where we mentioned that we needed the Drunken Master. He basically, the next part of the lore is we need to go and disgrace a judge for the Lotus Assassins in order to gain access to their fortress. I don't remember exactly what you need to do with the turtle eggs, but you need to like replace something with them to like embarrass him and make him resign.
Yeah.
But
there's
that's
multiple ways of doing it.
Yeah, that's actually slower. So what we're going to do instead is go to the arena, and there's a lady who basically has like a way to extort him to hand in his resignation. I don't know if you want to go a bit more into detail if you know it, Strife.
So I actually don't know well the way we do it in the speedrun. I know other ways of doing it that are slower. But here, basically, this girl has been harassed by this judge/boss, and she wants to get back at him. So we're gonna blackmail him and embarrass him at the same time.
So this is the lady that's coming up here. And we're actually going to mash through this dialogue, even though there is a speech check, because we're going to fail the first one, and then immediately it takes us to the second one, and we pass that one. And that allows her to... we're going to convince her to get a ring, and then we're going to show it to him, and for some law reason that I don't know, that basically extorts him into...
It's a weird story. So that's why we tell you to play it, because you don't see actually any of the interesting bits in the story, which is really complex.
Yeah.
It's a really good Bioware game. It's like.
This also gives us a nice spoonful of bad karma, which we want as well.
Oh yeah, we love the bad karma.
Love it. So that's done now. That's that entire section completed. It's a lot faster to do it this way.
Yeah, so you don't buy the sword then, since you take the demon sword after that, you don't need to buy the sword right now.
Yeah, it's a good thing to mention. So you can actually upgrade Fortune's favorite twice in this run. One of them is you can buy the dragon sword from a merchant in the Imperial City, which is where we are at now. And the second one is in the Underworld, which is like right on the way. So we'll definitely get on in the Underworld, but it's not actually faster to our knowledge to get the dragon sword. It gives us a 25% increase, but it's also slower in attacking. So.
If I remember correctly, I'm from France, Mr. Apart.
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. Yeah, so the thing is, the PC version has the Demon Sword exclusive upgrade. So in the console version, of course, they buy the Dragon Sword upgrade. But for the PC version, from what I remember, it's not really faster to take the Dragon Sword.
Yeah. So this is probably my least favorite section of the game, because, to my knowledge, everyone seems to have different setups for some of the skips in here, and none of them seem to be perfectly consistent, depending on the game version. I actually found a consistent way to skip all of the fights that you can skip in this section, but it only works for the Steam version, and my Steam version no longer works, so I'm having to use the GOG version, and they don't work on the GOG version.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, it's unbelievably strange. The first fight is consistently skippable by abusing the camera on the GOG version, but the second one, not so much.
All those the two fights are skippable by you manipulating your camera to not trigger the combat trigger. The problem is even with debug functions, we've had trouble like locating exactly where those triggers are, and if they're even in a specific location or if it's more of a dependent on your position.
Yeah.
So it's just really weird.
But essentially all that you do is you just basically look away and run through. You shouldn't spend too much time like trying to set it up with any references. Just run through and don't look and hope you get it. Because the fight is so short that it's not a big deal if you miss it.
Every fight you miss is like 5 seconds, so it's okay. On the
so slight detail here, we're going to go to a tomb and we're going to break these, or not break these, but we're going to loot these bones, because as you can see that gave me the spirit gem. So if you see really quick, if I unequip the Forward Warrior gem and put on the Ultimate Monk gem, we now have an absolute buttload of chi that will last us for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Conveniently enough, the spirit, the health gem is also right in this. It's actually in the fortress that we need to go in order to progress the story.
Funny thing about like all those gems and stuff. It's like you can equip quite a lot of them, but we have to be careful because we have a limited slot like a limited number of slots. So we had to do quite a fair bit of routing. But then we realized that those ultimate gems were in the PC version only, and we're like, oh.
Just
well,
get them. Just
yeah,
get them.
I guess we get both of those, and yeah.
Before you would get like a couple of +4s, couple of +6s, you know, and balance out your stats. But now it's just get the +12s and run.
Yeah.
So right here, as you can see, Sagacious Zoo storms off because of a bit of a inter-team drama going on, and he actually goes into the fortress, and we'll see him a couple of times, kind of creeping around. But the idea of this fortress is it's like the Lotus Assassins' headquarters, and we're going to infiltrate it and get them to trust us. This is probably my least favorite section in the game, just because of how long it is. There's a lot of tasks that you need to complete here. And again, the order matters, as Strife will probably tell you.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most interesting zones lore-wise, because there's such a quantity of lore in one small place.
Yeah.
But for the speedrun, it's mainly boring, to be honest. There's a few things we can do to make it faster, but not much.
Not too much, yeah. And if you miss something, sometimes it's very difficult to figure out exactly what you're missing, because the place is so big. It's like a labyrinth. There's so many different floors.
We're talking about it, and there's like 4 or 5 ways to finish this zone, which is pretty interesting in itself. And so firstly, I think routed them all, found like one route that was consistently fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can get really creative. You can like crush people under presses. You can do so much stuff. It's pretty impressive.
Yep. So basically your first task is, as soon as you walk in, a group of acolytes go, you're probably not here to serve the people because you don't look like us or something, so we're going to attack you. And then you just absolutely murk one of their friends. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll peace out because you're really strong.
Yeah. Basically, this is like Slytherin, edgy Slytherin, where they kill each other. That's pretty much it. It's like, it's a basement thing where it's a school and they all betray each other, they all hate each other. It's really nice. And as you can see, very good sneaking away around from
Sagacious
Zoo, sorry. It's really good at sneaking.
I don't know how he doesn't get detected. Like, he just walks around and nobody says anything.
He doesn't. If they don't know he's here. If they don't know he's here, they just can't find him. That's all.
So this guy right here is basically our boss for a while, but he knows that we're kind of in on it, or he's kind of in on it in our plan. So the first thing he asks us to do, this is like a linear section, like you have to do this in this order, is go in here and clear out the ghosts. This is the first ghost lord that you actually have to fight.
Yeah.
And you'll see just how awful it is. I'll say that and then get a really good fight and it'll look really easy and everyone will be like, you know, what are you talking about, Ben? You know, you just absolutely destroyed that guy. But trust me, these guys can lose you minutes.
They're really annoying.
Yeah. So as you can see, even with a broken build, like we do barely any damage to this guy. Like it takes like 4 or 5 combos to kill him.
I think I had the data somewhere. I'll try to find the data on the ghost HP,
Yeah, sure.
just so you know.
Cool. So in the meantime, we're just going to head back and let him know that we survived killing the ghost. He didn't actually expect us to survive. He's very shocked at that, but he doesn't know that we're an alpha gamer, so...
Yeah, he did a mistake.
Yep. So now he gives us in that dialogue, he gives us like a huge list of tasks. And we're just going to go and do them in what I believe to be the most efficient order. I'm not actually sure what Thirsty's order is, but I'm going to assume I'm doing, you know, at least close to the same.
If there's like, you have a bunch of orders, and you don't need to do them all, you need to do a specific number of them, either 3 or 4. And when you've done those, it triggers the rest of the quests.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is go and get some remains and use them to fuel this elevator. So the elevator actually functions right now, but we don't need to actually use it. We can select our destination, quick save, and then quick load, and it'll basically take us right down to the bomb, which is good because this elevator takes forever. So shoutouts to PC allowing us to skip this entire section.
Yeah, it's really good.
Another
But
reason
guys,
why...
you could run the original Xbox version and spend another half an hour / an hour in the loading.
We could do that, but I would not like to do that, you see.
That's how I played it.
Yeah, well, be sure to submit that run to the leaderboards, Jack of Hearts. We could, we're a growing community. We could use people like you. All right, so here's a Ghost Lord, and he's kind of like a Ghost mini boss, but I'm pretty sure he has less health than the Ghost Lords, which are supposed to be normal enemies. So, but as you can see, what's happening right here, he can be a real pain in the backside and just push you back constantly. So this is another fight where you can lose a lot of time just if he decides to troll you. Ideally, we would like to use Sagacious Zoo for this segment because we're going to be doing a lot of fighting with our sword. But unfortunately we can't. Because he's creeping around, we can't select him as our follower. So we're going to select the next best person, which is Silk Fox, because she boosts our attack with martial arts styles instead.
Exactly.
So we take the soul or remains of that guy or whatever, take it back to the soul extractor, put it in, and now the lady who is in the elevator is furious with us for doing that. So we're going to have to kill her to keep her silent, basically. So we're going to kick her a few times in the face and now she's dead. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry. Everything's normal. They all believe we are here to do good.
Yep. Anyone who doesn't gets sent home in a body bag, basically.
You get sent to the Shadow Realm. We're in Yu-Gi-Oh now.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
So again, we're going to do a similar thing here, where we're the elevator is going to be start moving, and then it's going to go back down. So we're going to quick save and quick load to skip it, and then we're going to put it back up to the main level, which is where we need to be. Quick save and quick load to skip it once more. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to find a way to disgrace Master Shin, and the way we're going to do that is by putting him in a press, like Strife mentioned. So,
yeah, it's really cool.
Fortunately for us, Master Shin is kind of an ass, and the guy who operates the Golem press doesn't like him. So we can basically go, yeah, we'll get rid of him for you if you step away from your station for a little bit. So the same guys that we fought at the start that then ran away right at the entrance to the fortress, and now here in numbers, so we're going to have to destroy them all as a typical Jade Empire fashion. So that's them dealt with, and then we're just going to hop across to the northeast room, and we're going to persuade this guy. So as you can see, this is the Golem press. This is where we're going to put Master Shin. The golems look very good. I wish I had a golem like that.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah. And as you see here, the guy actually tries to drop the golem and like make it look like an accident. So he tries to drop it right on top of Master Shin.
Yeah.
So you can tell already, like, the game is foreshadowing the fact that the operator of it just really doesn't like him. So now we're gonna go and speak to him and go, yo, we'll take care of him for you if you want.
Yeah, sadly I couldn't find data on his health, but it does
No
hit like a truck.
Yeah, he does hit like a truck. So what we need to do, we can't actually sort him out just yet because there's a couple of triggers we need to hit. So we need to talk to that guy and basically find out that the press is dangerous, and then we need to go back and report that the fact that it is dangerous to the to Master Gang, and then we go back and then say, we can deal with him for you. So that, unfortunately, is mandatory. You have to go back to him like that. So we can go and say, we'll take care of this post for you. He disappears, so now he won't see us eliminate Master Shin.
Yeah.
Now, the last two things we need to do on our task list are to completely clear the upstairs area and deal with the slave shipment coming in. So there are three different people you need to get rid of, or three sets of people you need to get rid of. One of them you can persuade, because he's a merchant, you can basically persuade him to leave. The other two, the quickest way to deal with them are just to kill them. These first set of guys, these first set of guys, you can actually do like a quest for them to get them to move, but you know, killing them takes 2 seconds, so bad karma points. So then the merchant here, I don't actually want to trade with him. Let's see. We need the hole cleared, and then we just use our intuition to tell him to leave. And then these guys, I believe there's actually no way to do anything but kill them.
Yeah, no, very, very immediately aggressive.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it. There's no
So
check.
I kept interrupting you, Strife. What were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I wanted to do a point on the lore, because I
Yeah,
don't
sure.
think we even explained why we're here. So,
That's a good one.
yeah, Silk Fox comes to us by saying, I hate my father, I want to dethrone him, basically. And she says that the ones responsible for everything bad that happens is this League of Assassins. So we infiltrated them.
Yep.
Sorry.
All
And
good.
we are trying to get rid of them, basically, from the inside. And it's really easy because they basically want to kill each other.
Yeah, we're the catalyst in a massive chemical reaction of death, basically.
Exactly.
So the trade shipment here, the slave shipment, excuse me, there is actually a speech check where you can convince the slave driver to go, basically, we'll take them in and, you know, we'll go ahead and take the credit for it.
Yeah.
But it's not possible in a speedrun to get the stats available for that. So instead, we're just going to kill the slave driver and set them free.
I mean, he's alone, so yeah. I've had two guys, but we just
Two
destroyed him.
guys, so just absolutely merkle them. So now we're going to hop back in, and assuming I've done everything correctly, we should see a cutscene of Master Shin coming in and realizing, oh my god, what the hell is going on here? Like, everyone downstairs is dead, everyone upstairs is dead. Like, you know, what's happened? And then we're going to have a little boss battle. This boss battle can be very annoying. Master Shin has a lot of styles that can, again, stun lock you. Like, he can put you in a tornado and all these kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, there's some very weird styles. There's also the fact that, like, outside of Master Shin, then we have an even harder fight, which is the other Inquisitor. What's her name again? Gia. Yeah. And this fight can be a pain.
Yeah. Either it goes really well, or it goes really poorly.
Yeah. Alright, so if you say so firstly, but I think it's like slower anyways. I mean, it's just 2 enemies, so it doesn't really matter.
So we're going to kill Master Shin here, and we're going to kill the golems that he spawns. And then we're going to put his carcass in the golem press machine. And for some odd reason here, he goes into the golem press, which you think would like flatten him, right? Like you can see all the blood and guts. And then it opens again, and it's like he was never touched.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know why that is, Strife. It's very strange.
I mean, Bioware isn't really, you know, great with like gory stuff. They prefer to do stories, so you know, I understand.
So he would usually be absolutely flattened, but as you can see, is absolutely fine. Like it's like it never happened. So they just crush him again, just to add insult to injury.
30 Sama spoken, so if it's faster, I mean.
Apparently it's fast. I'll take his word for it, dude. I'm down to take his word for it.
It's 30 Sama, man.
He knows more about this game than I do, so.
Yeah, me too.
Alright, so now we've done all the tasks, and we've disgraced Master Shin, which is perfect. So now we are going to get access to one of the most broken styles in the game that we're going to use for a lot of boss fights. And it's called Jade Golem. Thirsty doesn't actually use it anymore. I don't know if you knew this, Strife. He actually uses Horse Demon because of its range attacks, but I'm more of a Jade Golem man myself.
Horse Demon has like really strong AoE, but I use Jade Golem because it's so easy to just hit everyone.
It's perfect for marathons, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, another lore update, kind of continuing on from what Strife said. the masters, they go ahead and activate like the Jade Golems, which is like this plan they've been working on. But because we corrupted the Spirit Shard by using the remains of the corrupted ghost, now they basically don't obey. And Gia comes out and goes, you know, what are you doing? This is not good. And she can immediately tell, because she has a part of the amulet, she knows that it's us, the Spirit Monk, the one who is destined to get the rest of the amulet.
Alright, we didn't actually talk about the Spirit Monk lore at all.
Yeah, whatever, it's not important.
Yeah, I mean, basically the idea is you're the last of the Spirit Monks. You're obviously the last of something, as always in a video game.
Yeah, definitely is something.
Spirit Monks worked with the Water Dragon to basically keep a balance on the energy of the universe. Or something like that. And before the game started, every Spirit Monk was massacred. Except you, that was saved by your master, Master Lee. And so that's why you basically owe him everything at this point. And I won't spoil yet, because there's going to be some big twists coming.
So I deliberately saved these stats from the level up, so I can put them right into Jade Golem as soon as I get them. Because right now is the fight with Gia, and we want to abuse Jade Golem for it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You are strong, but you do not know real power. Our strength lies in practice.
So there's a bit of dialogue going on. I guess I'll use this time to explain where the... I mentioned that inside the fortress there is the health gem. For some odd reason you can't get it, even though you can find the place where it is, until you kill Gia and the whole place starts falling down on you.
Yeah,
so
it's really weird.
Yeah, we can't use the health when we need it, because this, you know, it would be very useful for this fight. But
It's like the energy gem.
Yeah.
The energy gem has the same problem. If you try to get it after you've like either saved or corrupted everything, it doesn't appear. You need to do it before, from what I remember. It's really weird. It's a really weird condition.
Yeah, that was the absolute perfect fight. That is 4 hits, perfect fight. It could not have gone better.
She didn't block, which is really strange.
Perfect. Yeah. So now we're basically fighting our way out of here, and we're gonna have to kill everyone on our way out. But thankfully, they're really weak.
Yeah.
I don't think there's actually a time limit. Like, if you stay too long, I'm pretty sure the game doesn't, you know, go, oh, the building collapsed on you and you're dead. So you have as long as you need to fight these guys. So there's a lot of like acolytes chilling. We'll wipe them out, and then we'll get the body gem, which is just over here. Again, super convenient location, just in this jar. There we go. We shall equip it. So we also got a superior Golem gem, which is +6 mine. So as you can see now with our stats, we are basically as high as you can get, and we're only about halfway through, just a little over halfway through the game.
Yeah, we're already broken.
Yeah, we are. If we weren't broken before, we are insanely broken now.
Yeah. Doesn't mean we can't die. We can very easily die still.
Very easily.
Yeah. Some enemies will just stun lock you, and you'll get basically
absolutely massacred. Yeah.
One good thing about the transformation forms is that you cannot get stun locked while in them.
Yeah, or your and even in some, for example, like Jade Golem, if you get certain drops, like if you see before how you can get like little health orbs on the floor, there's actually one that makes all your attacks unblockable, which is, if you get that with Jade Golem, it's over. Like whichever fight you've got, you're just gonna absolutely massacre them.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So, we escape, and Darth Maul right here, otherwise known as the Father or whatever his name is, also made it out. Or the Watcher, he's called, apparently.
Yeah.
He also made it out, so we need to deal with him, because he wants to basically destroy us just to be safe, because he's like, the whole building collapsed. I don't know why, but it's probably your fault, considering you're the only one who made it out alive, so we're going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. what is there to say? I mean, at this point, we can talk about what we're gonna do after. After that, we're gonna go to the Imperial Palace and try to kill the Emperor. That's pretty much it.
I guess the one thing to mention here is that I still have Silk Fox, because we're going to be fighting ghosts on the way out, so having the boosted damage is always good.
Yeah, that's pretty good, yeah. It is Revan, actually. It is Revan. From KOTOR. He made it back. He was in the code, in the game code, so he just made it. True story, by the way, lol.
The classic, oh, that was interesting. You'll see it in a second. Both of the ghosts were blocking, so I didn't know who to go for. I went for one of them, and they just clipped out of bounds. That's pretty good.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Interesting.
I mean, I've seen enemies clip out of bounds before, but
that's the first time I've seen that.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that happen once or twice, where it's like, since those enemies can teleport, sometimes they just teleport out of bounds. It's really weird.
Yeah. So, pretty strange.
I mean, I guess at this point we can maybe discuss the history of the speedrun of this game. That got a bit, you know, heated, I guess.
I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up, but if you want to, you can.
It's not to, you know, attack anyone. I don't even remember the name of the guy.
Yeah.
But basically,
I do, but I won't say it.
Yeah, the leaderboards for this game were dead for like, what, a year? An entire year, more than that. Because one guy became mod of the game, of the leaderboards for whatever reason, and submitted a run, removed all the other runs, basically.
Yep.
And then when he was pressured into putting back the runs, he deleted his own run. And the leaderboard just died.
Yeah. Not only that, but someone actually submitted a run that was faster than his. And, because he couldn't prove it wasn't legit, but he thought it was cheated. So he just wouldn't let anyone else who got a faster time than him, he would just reject their runs.
Yeah. And so after that, we picked it up pretty much because the guy deleted his account after we sent a few posts.
Yep.
And Ben picked up as a mod because if there's no one to mod a leaderboard, basically you can like ask for it and you automatically get it. And now the speedrun is alive. Yay!
Yeah, we basically rebuilt the community from scratch, Strife and I. Got a load of people who used to run the game years ago to get back interested in it again, and we found a load of new strats. Especially Thirsty, like he found an insane amount of stuff. And I'm sure Strife is somewhat credited for that because he has a speedrun background in Knights of the Old Republic where a lot of the stuff carries over.
Yeah, I searched a lot of stuff. First he did like solidify everything. Like he basically finished every skip and everything. Yeah. I found the base and then yeah.
So speaking of skip, I'm gonna try and do a skip here, which
skip
is
time.
Skip time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and line myself up. So I'm gonna roll into a trigger for a cutscene where you'd usually start a fight, but I'm gonna roll and block myself. That should work. And because I take too long to come through the door, I'm outside of the fight trigger and I skip it. That should work.
Oh, right.
Okay,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's usually a really long fight sequence where you fight like all the way up the stairs, but we skip the whole thing by deliberately blocking ourselves away from the door. And that allows us to, again, trigger the fight because our follower is there because they walk right through the door. But we don't, so we don't have to fight them.
Yeah.
So very cool strat from Thirsty right there.
Thank you, very cool.
Thank you, Thirsty, very cool.
Exactly.
Alright, so now it's time to go and see
donation,
yeah, we're going to go and see the Emperor, and there's going to be a long cutscene coming up, so give us a couple of minutes and I'll let you know when to...
Yeah, in a minute.
No problem.
Yeah, this gives us basically time to set the scene, because this is where the story takes a turn. So if you were here at the start, we said that if you wanted to play this game, there is a massive spoiler coming up. This is probably the time where you'd want to turn off for 5 minutes, I'd say. Because this is where like the big twist in the story is going to happen.
Honestly, there's a lot of spoiler material that's gonna happen basically until the end of the run because we can't skip it. Like there's no way we can skip it. So if you really want to play this game and don't want to be spoiled the story, honestly, leave now. It's totally fine. Go play the game. It is
I won't be
fantastic
offended.
game.
I won't be offended if you leave.
Yeah. So yeah, don't hesitate. It's the end of the speedrun is really cool. But if you want to play this game unspoiled, which I totally understand, go for it now.
Yeah. So there's a couple of fights before we go into the throne room because they're filled with Lotus assassins, and so now we're going to hop into the actual throne room with Silk Fox, who again is the Emperor's daughter, and basically we're going to find Master Li. He's not dead; he's actually alive and kicking, and we're going to think we've saved his life right now.
Yeah.
So there's the Emperor. There's Master Li. Again, we think he's been captured.
Let's leave it. Let's leave it to the. I mean, we can skip any of the spoiling cutscenes anyway. We can skip them. So
what we can get though, what we can have is Jack to talk over them.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead, Jack. Hit us up.
Thank you very much, guys. There's just a $6.66 donation here from Fleeks, who is actually a bird, and he says, I've never played this game. I feel like I missed out on that and just bought a copy to change that. Thank you all for showing it off. Legit greetings from Germany. Thank you for giving me my marathon fix. And thanks, chat, for some nice and chill company. Also, stay healthy, men of the world.
Indeed,
Thank you
stay
very much,
healthy.
Fleeks.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thanks.
I will admit this game is fantastic. I haven't played it in years, but I always remember having a lot of good memories of it. So, and since it's on sale on Steam, I'm probably going to go get myself a copy now as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I would recommend GOG over Steam, because the Steam does have some issues getting started, whereas the GOG seems to work out of the box.
Yeah.
If you were going to buy the game.
The GOG version is like always on sale once they do a sale. So if you want to wait for a GOG version, which I understand completely too.
Yeah.
They did a big compatibility patch, which basically makes you able to run the game on Windows 7, Windows 10, and like completely bug-free. So that's pretty good.
It's perfect. From at least
GOG
a small
in
time
general
that I've used
are
it.
very good at doing that as well. Pretty much every single game I've had from them just works right out the box.
And it's
definitely.
also DRM free, so you don't have to rely on internet connections or anything to run it. The game is yours forever. Even if GOG servers die, you can use the game. There's no Steam DRM or anything to annoy you. So basically, that cutscene right there, the Emperor just goes on a massive rampage and sends a load of guys after you. And now we're basically going to fight up to the throne room to destroy him, essentially.
Yeah. Most of the enemies in this section can be pretty much annoying.
Yeah,
really,
as you can
really
see, a
annoying.
lot of them are blocking right now. Just need to find the ones that aren't blocking and kill them while the other ones sit and block.
By the way, I actually forgot to say something at the very start of the run. You said Forbidden Favorite where you train sword. It isn't. It's actually like a relic of your village.
Ah.
They decide to give it to you because you're like the favorite student, and in a time of dire circumstances, they need you to be able to carry them basically.
That's
So
it,
yeah,
that's
it's.
good lore update.
Lovely.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I mean, the Steam version is still totally okay, but if you prefer to have a version that's compatible with pretty much any PC around the world,
Yeah. And DRM
yeah.
free.
Yeah, and the fixes also, I think there's like some fan-made fixes online that pretty much reproduce what GOG did, so you can also do that.
Yeah. There's 100 different ways to get your Steam version working. The only reason I mentioned GOG is because GOG essentially patched the game, as Strife mentioned, to have all these functions already built into the game.
Exactly.
So here's the big boss fight with the Emperor. Of course, he starts off with the single worst attack, which is the tornado attack that I mentioned, because you can't move while doing this, so he can sit and stun lock you if he really wants to. So I mash keys to kind of get out of it. I don't know if that actually makes it better, So as you can see, he's just
I never
absolutely
checked. I have no idea.
I'm gonna mash anyway, just in case it does.
Yeah. He has like a big set of attacks, so you can do much.
Yep, and now of course he's gonna sit and block when I go into Golem form. Not a good fight here, but I guess that makes up for the godlike Gia fight earlier. Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So one of the big advantages that you have with the Golem fight is with the Golem form is that all your attacks are AoE, so you can basically hit any enemy in front of you, and even enemies behind you sometimes, which is really fun.
Yep.
So yeah.
So
huge
spoiler warning coming up. If you didn't check before and you don't want to be spoiled, look away now. This is your final warning.
Yeah, please, if you want to go unspoiled, stop now.
Yeah. I'm actually just gonna sit quiet and let this cutscene play, so I can we can relish in the twist.
Yeah, exactly. As Spoodle Spect said, there is currently a Bioware bundle with 4 other games of Bioware. So it's, for $14, it's pretty good. If you prefer to play the GOG version, you can also buy on GOG. From what Jack said, there's a buck difference between the two. So yeah, that's cool.
The basics of what I taught, even the flaws.
So, capital D colon right here. Master Lee actually wants to become the new Sunkin,
Yeah.
new Emperor, and he murders you. We are now dead.
Twist. This is the ultimate twist.
Don't switch stream back on. The spoiler's over yet. No! Switch off.
Look away! Stop! He wants to become the new Emperor, Jack.
Yeah.
Follow the pillar.
The new
Sunkin,
Sunkin, which is his brother.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Sunkern is the best Pokemon.
Alright, so we mentioned about the sword upgrade. Now we're finally going to get it because it's massively right next to you as soon as you die. It's just in this bone pile behind here. Where is it? There it is. So that gives us a 50% increase to our sword, which is very nice. We won't be able to use it just yet because...
it's a PC exclusive too. So.
Yep. Yeah, we won't be able to use it just yet because we're going to be fighting ghosts. Yeah, in this section. I guess the next ghost section that I'd like to skip is this, because not only is there ghost lords, but there's 5 fights that you seemingly can't skip.
Yeah, I tried to check that. I don't know if first he did more work on it, but it was a really annoying thing about this part is that there doesn't seem to be consistent triggers.
Yeah. You just seem to run forward, and after X amount of distance, you get a fight, and once you complete 5, you then get the next section.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's
more stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah. So Ghost Lord again takes 100 hits to kill, and you only get 1,000 XP. That's nothing, dude. Compared to the amount of damage you do, it's absolutely nothing. You get 350 for the ghosts, and they take 3 hits.
Yeah, it's probably 4 times the life of a Lost Soul, and it hits 4 times what the Lost Soul was.
So, yeah, the other big thing that Cersei just mentioned in the chat is we can't use followers at all in this section because obviously they're alive and we're dead.
Follower skips are not a thing.
Yeah.
And I tried camera glitches, stuff like that, nothing worked.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yes, exactly, Ruff. Death is just, it's a step in your life, and you need to accept it, and then, go to your next life, because that's how it works in video games.
Or in Jade Empire, the same life.
Exactly.
We're gonna revive ourselves because we're gonna fight the
you
water
never
dragon
died.
here.
Well, you did actually die, but you never died. It's complicated.
It's very complicated along with everything else.
Yeah, basically, spirit monks are supposed to be half immortal because they can separate their soul from the body and come back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. If you play with Horse Demon, this zone is a bit easier, I guess. But
Yeah,
we
Horse
play
Demon
mostly
is
with
very
Jade
good.
Golem.
So right here we're going to find the Abbot. He's actually technically the most broken follower in the game because he basically is a combination of all of the good support styles all in one. He gives you boosted health, chi, and focus, which is very good. So we're going to
Basically makes you almost invisible.
Yeah. Which is nice because there are some kind of tricky fights coming up.
Yeah. Problem is, it doesn't stay with you till the end of the zone.
Yeah,
He stays till about the 2/3, and then he just leaves.
Gonna make sure he's in support mode because again, he is useless when it comes to actually attacking.
Yeah. So as you can see, all the Spirit Monks' spirits are still there. They're forced to battle again. The battle that they lost where they got exterminated all the time. Because all the souls are trapped here, and you're just gonna change that. You're gonna free the souls so all the Spirit Monks can go to rest.
Yep. So right here, basically, you do like a kind of mini boss fight before you restore the fountains, which something to do with the water dragon, something water fountain.
The fountains are supposed to be like they flow, and basically the water is the magic of the water dragon, and so you restore the magic energy of the place, and so the souls can get rest or something like that.
It's all that I took it as was like the water is like the symbol of life, and when you restore both the fountains, you then restore life to the place.
Just like first he said, since we only have one follower that can spawn on the map, we can't do follower skips yet in this zone
because we
anyways.
cannot switch between two, which is certainly unfortunate.
We can't despawn followers, we're forced to have at least one follower.
Yeah. So that's the first fountain down. The next one is guarded by a demon that sets a trap for you, and funnily enough, in the dialogue, your character is like self-aware that it's a trap, but you still have no choice but to go in.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. So that's the bull demon. Sometimes in the loading screens, the game will tell you that the bull demon is like, the one to watch out for. So we'll head into it, but we still have no choice but to take him on head on.
Still, it's a really easy fight, honestly.
Because, we're broken.
Yeah.
He might be strong, but we're always stronger.
We're broken and we're easy, so yeah. It's really easy.
You can actually change difficulty mid-run, and there are a couple of strats that you can do in order to, if you've seen points where we've like deliberately failed fights or failed minigames, you can actually change the minigame difficulty as well as the in-game difficulty, but it evens out. It's pretty much like, it's not faster or slower to go into the menu, change it to the hardest difficulty, and then die faster than it is to just stay on easy and die this way.
It is, if you got perfect AI, it's easier at the end of this section. At the end of this whole section, where you can die to the you can lose a fight against the bad guy.
Yep.
It's technically faster if you got perfect AI, but the problem is the AI tends to block and do nothing, and so you just don't get killed.
Yeah. So we're gonna fight Death's Hand eventually, a bit later
Death's
on.
Hand. Thank you.
That's what that's what Strife is looking to while we kill the minion of suffering, aka me whenever I get asked to watch Despicable Me. But yeah, so you have a fight with Death's Hand, you beat him the first time, and then Masterly revives him, and then you play as the Emperor Sun King in order to fight him again. But because you're not playing as yourself, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. So ideally with perfect AI, it's a lot faster to die to Death's Hand than it is to kill him. But as Strife also mentioned, sometimes he can just not want to kill you, and he will just sit there and block and block and block.
Dang, Bull Demon gave you crap AI. That's okay.
The classic Bull Demon right there.
Yeah.
It's foreshadowing things to come when we get to Death's Hand. He's going to sit and block on my ass.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, if he blocks, if you went for a suicide strategy, you're screwed. If you went for the kill him strategy, you're screwed too.
Yep.
So, yay for Death Hand. It's like
It's fantastic.
And yeah, Death Hand is Darth Vader in Jade
Darth
Empire.
Vader, Jade Empire, yeah.
He's basically this guy that's like not really human anymore, and just kills every enemy of the Emperor ever.
Yep. So here's the second fountain. We've restored it, and we're gonna level up real quick. We have a lot of points to spend actually. I didn't realize we'd had that much. Could put it fully upgrade
at this
Jade
point,
Golem
putting
form.
points doesn't change much.
Yeah, the only thing I did was put it into max out my chi cost reduction, because in long fights, Jade Golem can drain your chi very fast.
Oh yeah,
And, ideally, you want to finish the fight still in Jade Golem form, because otherwise you would have to use like an inferior style, basically.
By the way, that's the reason why Ming is inferior character. Is while he's dead, his hair is white, and
Yes.
that makes him inferior
That is the reason I hate Furious Ming.
because he's just ugly.
Yeah. So this is essentially where we get revived. We hop through here, and remember when about 8 minutes into the run, I mentioned that I got Dire Flame, but we weren't going to use it for another about 90 minutes. Well, it's 90 minutes later, and we're going to use Dire Flame. The only time you use it in the run.
Yeah,
So-
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's not now, it's after this fight, but this fight kind of gives me time to talk about it. Essentially what we're going to do is that gate behind the apparitions that are spawning is basically the gateway back to life. Now, we can go through that gate, and that's what we're going to do once we've killed these guys. But, and a little conversation with Master Lee. But when we go through, we obviously kind of open the gates to bring some other things through with us, and we accidentally brought effectively a spawner of demons. So the spawner, you would think, oh, you can just kind of rush to it and take it out before it spawns too many enemies, right? Because once you destroy it, all the enemies are gone, right?
Yeah.
So the water dragon comes in, puts us through the gate, and then we'll.
Yeah, basically what he wanted to say is, thanks Chris for the raid. The AI can cuck you and block you from getting into melee range with spawner.
Yep. Not
So
only
we
that,
use
but
Dire
the spawner can actually knock you back as well, which is really
Also, yeah. So you use Dire Flame basically to two-shot it from range, where you have no risk of all of that.
Yeah. You can still kind of get a blue bolt if the horse demon that spawns, it's like the biggest thing, stands right in front of where you're going to be shooting. It definitely can happen. It's happened to me before.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
So now we're back to life, and we've had a new perception of our life. We're gonna change some things. Basically, we're gonna kill everyone.
Classic. I mentioned the horse demon blue balling me, and guess what happens?
Yarzim and Blue
It
Ball,
walks right in front of me.
Yeah, it can happen a few times.
Yeah. So now we need to basically go and regroup with our friends, because they don't know we've revived. I don't even think they know we're the spirit monk, to be honest with you. Or if they do, they don't know that we can come back to life. So.
To be honest, at this point, you probably don't even know. You probably didn't even know we had friends, because we saw them like three times.
2 times, yeah.
Yeah, but this game has a follower system just like our Bioware games, with a romance system also, but I actually didn't find out before my 4th playthrough of this game. So yeah, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is going to be an example of a strat that you might not notice unless I kind of mention it, but there's actually a lot of ghost fights right here that you can trigger, but if you hug the wall here, you can skip them all.
Yeah.
Does save a surprising amount of time, considering how easy it looks to just run away from the triggers. That's basically all this game is, just running away from fights that you usually wouldn't be able to run away from.
Pretty much. So now we're gonna play all of our friends, pretty much. I mean, not all of our friends. We're gonna play Silk Fox, and
Black Whirlwind.
Black Whirlwind, and that's it. But
When he means play as some of our friends, he means like when we play as Silk Fox, for example, we're also with Dawnstar, but we don't actually control Dawnstar.
yeah,
We only
exactly.
control one of them at one time.
The Black Whirlwind fight is absolutely hilarious because
Yeah.
you're just berserking through, and you can one-shot everything. It's pretty fun.
It's great. So a quick nightmare sequence here. Basically, we go to rest.
Mistake, big mistake. Don't rest.
Yeah, and you have a little nightmare scenario where all of your friends from True Rivers blame you for their deaths, but then as soon as you kill them, they're like, "Ah, yes, it wasn't your fault," because that's how that works, right? If you murder someone, they're like, "Ah, yes,
Yeah.
it was not
There's
your fault."
actually like a weird way to maybe skip this fight, which is that like Master Lee is already at the end of the section and you can talk to him even though he's not here. But I'm not sure if it softblocks the game or not. I haven't tested it in so long.
It's
So yeah,
something that's
where
kind of more of a theorized skip right now, more than anything.
yeah, that's where we play our friends. So we're gonna play Bridge Defense, really
Yep.
good game.
This is a
And-
2-minute auto-scroller, no way to speed it up.
That you can fail. You can fail it really hard. So yeah, be
Yeah,
careful.
it's not only a 2-minute auto-scroller, but a 2-minute auto-scroller where you have to pay full attention the whole time.
Yeah,
Because
because as
Kang
you
can
can
only
see,
take 5
it's,
hits.
it's treated as like a isometric 2D section for whatever reason, and the game is still 3D. And so enemies, when they can't spawn because there's too many enemies on the screen, will teleport behind you and try to kill your friend that you're trying to protect currently.
Yeah.
It's super annoying because
And sometimes they also
dies
just completely ignore you and sprint right past you to Kang, and you can't
Exactly.
sprint because they, Silk Fox doesn't have focus. As you can see, we don't have any focus. So they
Yeah.
can sprint and we can't.
And also, you can also only move, like target enemies by using the targeting system. You can't move freely in this mode, and sometimes the targeting system is really fucky. You know, it doesn't work correctly. Sorry for the swear. It screws up a bit, and so you might end up having Kang lose like half his health in like 4 shots, because basically you've been targeting the wrong guy and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, as you can see, that Lotus Assassin you'll see in a second just warped everywhere along the bridge. Like I couldn't catch them for the life of me.
Yeah. And you see, he says, "I need another minute or 2," and this is a 2 minutes long auto scroll, and you just can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it.
Would
No
love
way
to skip this, but yeah,
No.
currently there's no way to skip it because obviously it's tied to like a cutscene that happens right at the
Yeah.
end. So if you were to skip it, you just wouldn't be able to speak to Kang and you'd softlock anyway.
Yeah. Which is sad. Sad face.
It's very sad.
But yeah, as you can see, like, the assassins are just teleporting around. It's really badly made.
Yeah, it's really poorly.
Probably one of the worst sections in the game, honestly.
made. Yeah, I'd agree, certainly.
This section in the highest difficulty level
It's
is
borderline
almost
impossible.
impossible to
Yeah,
do. It's
it is
horrible.
insanely difficult.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
So yeah, what we were basically doing there, if you kind of weren't fully paying attention, and just listening to his bitch about how hard the autoscroller is on Grandmaster difficulty.
Oh, yeah.
Kang was setting charges on the bridge to blow it up so the golems couldn't get across to us. But that
Yeah.
doesn't fully solve our issue because, as he mentioned, flying machines do not wait at a bridge.
Yeah.
So we need to go and deal with the ground forces now as well. But that's the Silk Fox section over with.
Yeah. And as you can see, golems can get really angry even though they're not controlled by something really, you know,
Yeah.
like they just obey, but apparently this golem just screamed like, "No!" just like an anime character, so yeah.
Yeah.
This is
So
anime,
here's the Black Whirlwind section. Essentially, I'm pretty sure these little guys infinitely spawn until you kill the golem, so you just want to like focus everything on the golem. And
Yeah.
of course the golem is just sat blocking right now, as is per tradition.
But yeah, as
So
you
you
can
want to
see,
kill him
he
and
has-
then just wipe the floor with all the other
Yeah.
little guys.
He has like the equivalent health of like a plus 19, I think,
Yeah.
which is pretty insane. And he regenerates like so much because every enemy pretty much drops health orbs in this zone for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
And
it
then
hits, like,
all the other
almost
small
harder.
enemies, all the other small enemies just die in one hit. You just tap them, like sneeze on them, and they're dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's an absolute monster.
I think he has the same damage as the Jade Golem, but I can't find the damage values right now. So
So then the last thing we need to do is Sky has set up a trap for Death's Hand, because one of the most powerful people in all of Jade Empire is going to fall for a trap, which
Yeah.
is just a boulder falling on him from the ceiling.
very good trap.
Yeah.
And Sky looked like he betrayed us, but he didn't actually betray us. He was a double agent, and he actually worked
betrayed
for
the
us,
betrayal.
which is incredible. Thank you, Sky.
Thank you,
Very
Sky.
cool.
Thank you, Sky. Very cool. So here's the fight with Death's Hand that we mentioned. So the first one, we actually want to kill him.
Yeah, very fast.
And then
which
the
can
second
be a
time,
pain.
we want to die to him.
You gonna go for a dice strat?
Yeah. I won't switch
Okay.
difficulties though. I'll go for
All
go
right.
for the pure RNG. Make it as
Why not?
YOLO as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So here's what I mentioned earlier. Master Lee revives Death's Hand, and then
Good first death send. That's good. That's good.
yeah. Good
Sorry, I'm a
first
bit
fight.
behind, so
The first block was kind of annoying, but the rest of it made up for the rest of the fight.
yeah, that's really good.
So yeah,
Well,
so
yeah.
basically summon Death's Hand again. He's revived, and then we have to fight a Sun Kin.
And after that, we'll be approaching the end. We'll go a second time to the Imperial Palace
Yep.
and kill Lee.
Well, maybe.
I mean, you never know. I don't know for what you go, but I know.
Well,
I mean, I know
So-
what the speedrun strat is, so I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I don't know what the approximate time is going to be, but if we want to stay on schedule, I could just go for the slower ending just to show it off.
Right now we're at 156, 48
Yeah.
on my side, so it's like 10 seconds after, I guess, for you.
So I think we'll be closer to estimate if we go for the longer but much cooler
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah, we'll be closer to estimate, probably.
Yeah. And we want to stay as close to estimate as possible, obviously, because if you go too far ahead, then people won't be around for their runs.
Yeah.
So
I'll just tell you, like, right before you get into the fight, so you can
Yeah.
know how ahead or behind you are.
yeah, I've got a timer running, don't worry.
Oh, okay, you got the timer running, that's
Yeah.
good.
It's not entirely accurate, but... Alright, so I guess we'll explain the ending, since this is just going to be fighting back up to the throne room. So, in the speedrun, the ending to this game is extremely anticlimactic, because essentially the two options are, when you speak to Master Lee, when he's like, the final boss, is you actually have the choice to either fight him or side with him. And you side with him,
Essentially,
and then the game literally just ends.
essentially
Go right back to the
BioWare did another BioWare thing, which is take all the moral choices you did before and throw them out of the window, because there's just one big choice at the end that matters.
Yep.
Alright, just seeing with on the Discord if we go for a longer, shorter ending.
That's what I was just checking now as well.
Yeah, it's a good squash. But we'll definitely be closer to estimate if I take the longer ending.
Yeah.
I won't go over unless I die like 300 times to him, but it's never happened.
Yeah,
so.
if there's plenty of time to watch, there should be, as long as you're absolutely sure not to go over, then
I am, yeah.
enough time.
100%
The next
confident.
run is not scheduled for another 15 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah, that should be fine.
I say we do the fight then.
Yeah. The fight is only like 40 seconds longer, so that's okay, honestly. It's just that the cutscene that goes with it is a bit longer, that's all.
It's much better to, actually kill the person who's betrayed you across the whole game, and you know the whole thing builds up to this. So I think it's much better to kill him than to just go, yeah, sure, I'll become a bad guy, and then just get cut straight to the main menu. If you want to watch that ending, you can just watch any of our PBs, because we all do the faster one.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But there is one quick stop. Oh, go on.
So I was just going to ask, why didn't you go and meet John Cleese and get his gun?
John Cleese?
Yeah, there's an English dude in one of the cities who's voiced by John Cleese, I'm fairly sure, and he gives you a gun.
Because it's extremely long. It's like an extremely long quest.
I didn't know he was voiced by John Cleese. That's pretty cool.
It's like the entire quest is like 4 minutes long, and the gun is probably one of the worst weapons in the game because it reloads extremely slowly.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Just saying, it's like...
I was really disappointed when I first found it. It's like, cool, a gun. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's like, it does one-shot people, but you can one-shot people with everything else, so what's the point?
Alright, Strife.
Yes.
Do you have a lore update for why we're here? Because I don't remember.
We're here because basically Water Dragon brought us in the basement to show her where she's been imprisoned. And we find out that she's been basically attached and drained by the Emperor to take all of her power and keep it to himself. And it's a pretty horrific thing. The first time you see it, it's actually pretty shocking because it's pretty well done. If you imagine that all the water is actually your blood. Yeah, it's like... it's pretty, you know, it's pretty appalling at least. And we are gonna free her by burning her body, which makes her able to then potentially live on as a spirit and potentially resuscitate.
Yeah. So this cutscene is also unskippable, so Jack, if you've got anything you'd like to read, this is probably the last time.
Yeah.
I haven't had any donations, but I will remind people that coming up next is Animal Crossing. And you can still put in a bid for choosing the gender and naming the character and naming the town. So if you want to get those in before Animal Crossing starts, which will be in about 10-15 minutes, now is the time, guys.
Definitely get those in. Big fan of Animal Crossing. I
Because
support that a lot on my,
it's all going to a great cause as well, the
Yeah.
Movember Foundation. So
Yeah, by keeping the power to himself, he basically made himself a immortal.
But we are swiftly going to deal with that problem.
Yeah, exactly, because we are a sharpshooter. We are American sniper, I mean Chinese sniper, sorry. And yeah, we just break the entire thing and the body is gonna finally go to rest.
Alright, so that's that section done, and now we're going to go into the final section. But
That's
first,
pretty much
it's
a
kind
bad
of like...
ending.
yeah.
Soldier.
They're, we're gonna go into like the doubt section now, and essentially it is like Master Lee kind of talks to you and says that you can't beat him, but your friends and your followers that you've met along the way kind of cancel out the bad thoughts. Like it's hard to explain. You'll see what I mean.
It's a power of friendship. It's just the power of friendship.
That's basically what it is. Yeah, it's the power of friendship.
However, before that, you have the fights to the throne room.
Yep. These fights can be horrendous sometimes.
Yeah, because it's all demon fights, and they're much harder than the first fights you do in these rooms.
And not only that, but for some odd reason I've noticed, they'll melee you a lot here when I'm in human form, but if I switch to Jade Golem form, they'll all start ranging you, and you move really slow while in Jade Golem form, so it's basically useless here.
I think it's basically like an AI adaptation. Like the enemies just react to you being in Jade Golem form. They're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go range and
just gonna completely counter you.
Because so the elephants are both melee, but the bull demons are all both ranged, and they hit a lot, even in easy game.
So here's the doubt section. Essentially, Master Lee's telling you, you know, you're weak and you'll never accomplish anything, and then your friends come along and go like, yeah, we can do it, and then that's
Yeah.
enough. That's enough.
It is
to
the
break
power
it
of
down.
friendship. Like we are in Sailor Moon right now. It's like,
Yeah, basically. So as you can see, all of our friends are coming here, and then they run into the kind of doubt nightmare fuel things.
Yeah,
And,
there's supposed to be something like, I don't know, they suicide themselves or something like that, but they're
Yeah.
still here at the end. So I don't know. I don't know what happens. It's like
I don't know
weird.
either.
It's like-
And you do this 3 times, I believe.
yeah, 3 times. So you don't know these people, but we collected them as followers, and they're supposed to be our friends.
Yeah.
Even though we never interacted with them outside of like meeting them, that's all.
We don't know anything about them. We haven't done any of their stories. All we basically did was use them for their abilities and the fact that you can use them to skip things. That's
All
about
right.
it.
I forgot to actually say that we disable the full movies, the cutscenes, like the not in-game cutscenes. We disable them from the config scene, so we don't have to watch them. So your character is currently petrified, and you are in a dream realm where
Yes.
Lee is trying to mess with you. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there is actually an in-game feature to turn off most of the cinematic cutscenes in this game. So
Yeah.
obviously you want to do that for speed.
Just like in all early Bioware titles.
Yep.
It's the same for KOTOR 2, and I think Mass Effect 1. No, Mass Effect 1 didn't have it. So yeah.
So here's where the actual choice happens, but I'm going to actually choose to fight him.
Yeah. It is not
So,
that much longer. We should be
Here we
totally
go.
fine
The,
for
the
it.
final fight. Let's mess him up. So we're gonna. I haven't actually fought this guy in a long time, so I don't know exactly what he does. He seems to be slowing me right down right now. I can't heal either, so I'm just gonna be like, slowly swinging at him.
Yeah,
seems
his
to be
fight
winning
isn't
right
the
now.
hardest. It's just he can, as always, block for.
There we go. Smacked him down. Bam! Gave him the palm of justice. Right
Yeah, the
there.
only different things is that he can use focus too.
Yeah.
It's like it's
So.
supposed to be a fight against yourself, basically.
Yeah. And coming up on time, that's time right there.
Oh yeah, we forgot.
So,
we forgot to say it before. We forgot to warn them before.
It's all good. Doesn't matter. It's all good.
Yeah,
So,
it's not
that
like
is the
it's a
end of the run.
PB.
Yeah. So that's it. Master Lee has been defeated, and you have
Yeah.
all joined me and Strife and Jack of Hearts in witnessing the single greatest video game of all time.
Yes.
Remember, it's on sale right now, so you've got to play it. Absolutely got to play it.
Sale on Steam and GOG. If you want to play the version without too many problems of compatibility, I advise taking the GOG version, but the Steam version is also included in the bundle with 4 other titles from BioWare, probably Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and 2 other games I can't really... Probably KOTOR 1 and 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5 amazing games. Don't hesitate, it's $14 on Steam. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
I just like you spent the entire time going avoid spoilers, and you literally just blurted out the main spoiler right at the end there.
Alright, it's all good. Not a problem.
Sorry about
I just
that.
found that amusing.
Yeah. Apologies to all the people who didn't want to be spoiled, but
Yeah, we did warn you before.
we did warn you. So
Yes.
yeah, without further ado, thank you, Strife, for accompanying me on this fantastic journey.
Thank you, Ben, for doing it.
Thank you, Jack, for being here as well, reading out donations and giving up his personal time to help out ESA and the Movember Foundation.
No problem.
Thank you to him.
Glad
Thank you
to
to
be
everyone
here,
on
man.
tech who is also volunteering for this
Exactly.
lovely event, and everyone who's working behind the scenes. Thank you to the small but lovely Jade Empire community for rejuvenating this game into what it is today. And,
Yes, it is.
Thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you
And
next
next round
time.
is Animal Crossing. So
Animal
stay
Crossing.
up for that, guys.
Don't go anywhere.
I can't love war.
Welcome back to ESA Movember. Back with here, Irregular Genie. Hope you guys enjoyed English Ben's very fun run, actually. I watched that run a few times on his stream, and it was really cool to see it here for ESA Movember. Hope you guys having a good night. Coming up next, as they mentioned, is Animal Crossing. And there is a bid war going on right now. I know Saphir was trying to snipe the name of the town. I don't know which one is in the lead right now, but if you want your name for the town to be the winner, you have to donate right now, because I believe the donation bid war ends as Animal Crossing starts, I guess. Am I correct on that? Does the bid war end before the game starts? Yeah. Yeah. In other news, the run coming up after is a run that I think a lot of people have been looking forward to. This was a submission that I don't think any one of us in the team expected to happen, but it's actually going to be Splatoon played on a dance pad, which is 2 dance pads, basically like the ITG machine you see in the back during our intermissions. Similar to that, you'll be seeing Peking Boo do dance pad any %, which presumably is the story mode of the game, on a dance pad. I have no idea how that works. I've seen like a little bit of it, and it's insane. I have no idea how he plays that, so look forward to that. We got a pretty cool block coming up here with a bunch of games, and I see we have an update with the bid war for the town name for Animal Crossing All Depths speedrun. So in the lead, or tied lead right now, is Prison and town name without space, on both on $20. In $15, and third place is Baguette, and then on $12 we have Sanaville, and $10 at the bottom is Växjö. Unless someone in this venue is about to snipe that right now. In any event, I'm looking forward to these 2 rounds. Hope you guys are too. Don't forget that we are supporting the Movember. I keep forgetting how this works, because I've been all over the place. Yeah, are we good? All right, to end off this little intermission here, thanks for having me. This is my last intermission for today. Is a quote from Animal Crossing that I just stumbled upon the other day. Message of the week. A friend in need is a friend indeed. An enemy in need is hilarious. This has been Irregular Ginny. Hope you guys are having an amazing night. And coming up next is Animal Crossing All Depths on the Nintendo GameCube by Shape. Don't forget to throw in your donations last minute here for your town name of choice. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
Cool. I think Jenny's just finishing up doing some hosting stuff, and we'll be ready to go in a few seconds.
Well, we better hurry, because this is going to say Animal Crossing again. And this is the issue that I have. What won the donation incentive? Was it a female and Caleb? I believe that one.
Yeah, let me just check again.
My life? Hello.
Animal Crossing character is the girl.
It's the girl, okay.
Town name is Prism.
Prism?
And villager name is Caleb, yeah.
Okay. Prism. I thought somebody... What was that one for? How much was that one for?
$20.
20 for... Okay, Prism, right? Not like Prism? Kappa?
No, prison, like a jail.
Oh, prison. You have the accent, man. The British? Yeah.
But just ask me again when it's
prison.
time.
Okay,
remind you, it's fine.
Hi, chat. Hi, Runner. That's me. All right.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah,
so
I'm ready to go.
Count you down.
I can actually just start now. So I'll give you a countdown.
Oh, yeah.